Whatever.
Eh.
It's December. Yay! Happy holidays.
Yay.
Is everybody who isn't me physically, if not emotionally, prepared?
You got it.
I think so.
I mean, really. I kind of just think, especially this past month, I feel like I have not been on top of anything. And it was like little duck feet moving very fast under the water. And today is no exception. I mean, I think I was really prepared like maybe 2 weeks ago, and then I let 2 weeks happen, and then as it happened, there's entropy, there's decay. And then I got up this morning and I'm like, what is even... I was not tracking what my activities this morning. I had 2 things of housekeeping. Well, one of them I'll actually get to later. One of them is there were 3 books that Kai found at the Boombeth cottage last time. And I did not have inventory items for those last session. But I made them, and they're in Kai's inventory now. So that, was it Dirge of Delzoon, and the romance novel, and the Frontier Gazette. All those things should be in Kai's inventory.
Yeah.
Last session. We came to last session, you guys were looting the bodies. You had come into confrontation with a group of jackal-wares. And you found signs that they had been luring villagers and travelers to that cottage, turning them into geese until they were ready to consume them as food. And this macabre situation had been going on for, out of 6-7 months. There was proof of a few dozen victims, if not more. Mainly because everybody in Fantasy World puts little name labels in their clothes. At least that's what I'm saying. They don't get their peasant garb confused at the laundry. Okay, we were talking earlier about like Terrell's not sure like what Terrell got. There was a lot of examination of items because you got some random items. Terrell salvaged a dose of polymorph dust that the jackal-wares employed in their crimes. And Kai and Elena harvested various useful body parts off of the dead jackal-wares. Because Kai recognized from his alchemy studies that shapeshifter organs could be crucial ingredients for various transmutative concoctions that he might make. And if I have my act together, maybe like one day he'll get a recipe. I don't know. He'll find something. You'll come up with something. I don't know. It's all possible. Yelena found a mysterious canteen that the jackal-wares had tucked away with their meager personal items. While they didn't have a chance to properly examine the canteen, the party did go ahead and use it to store a few pints of shapeshifter blood. Otherwise, the party mainly looted some extra ammunition, some coin, and those 3 books that I mentioned before out of what you rummaged from the dead jackal-wares in the Boombeth cottage in Ulavan. You also rescued 3 people from the jackal-wares, and you got to know them a little bit better. One was the widow Heller, and she insisted that the party accept her late husband's signet ring as a reward for saving her life. And I think Kai is wearing that now because he's the squishiest.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
There was another rescuee, a halfling merchant named Frito Coinspinner, and he was a little bit of an asshole.
Yes.
Yeah, the note I wrote here was unpleasant, but I just said asshole. Yeah. And you recovered several bolts of cloth for him that were his stock and trade. And you agreed to escort him at least to the meeting up with the caravan. You're like not taking responsibility for anything else with this guy, but you're like, I'll take you to the guy you got to talk to. So he headed out from the widow Heller's cottage with you. The other person was a green soldier named Harton Harker. And I named him both names that I called him last session, I think. He has all the names that I called him last session now. Instead of just one. Which increases the likelihood that I'll actually get it right. But I wouldn't hold your breath. Harton, Terrell, you were like, hey, the caravan can use another guard, and that aligned with what the young soldier was hoping to do when he set out to travel to Secomber in the first place. So it's kind of agreed that you'd introduce him to Lord Jomont or Lady Belafana and see about maybe getting Harton a job. Whether it was just, going the rest of the way to Secomber, whether it was like going all the way to Parnast or whatever.
But at least get him away from this damn village.
At least get him away from the village, and not make him go off on his own. I think you did get him a little bit, like you got him a chain shirt out of all the stuff that they had kind of just left in cases and boxes and crates at the cottage of loot that they'd taken from their victims. The party decided to rest before they caught up with the caravan rather than catching up with the caravan right away. Sprinkles had a lot of boo-boos, but none of you wanted to stay at the creepy cannibal house any more than you had to, so you went with the Widow Heller and the other two rescue people, to her farm. And even though it was like a short walk to this farm, it was eventful because there was that one thing that Terrell noticed that remembered some stuff about jackal-lairs, about how they change form when they're dead and become like totally looking like jackals.
Yeah, so we knew that Zeke wasn't dead.
Yeah, so Terrell figured out that Zeke wasn't dead. Zeke was just unconscious. So there was this thing where he like tied him up and like decided that you would let the village of Ulavan decide what to do with him. And like Widow Heller went and knocked on the neighbors' doors, and they went over there and apparently, handling the situation. So you did tie up that loose end. Yay, frontier justice.
For sure.
On the track south of Ulavan to the Heller farm, the first thing that happened was you encountered some voices chanting Kai's name in the darkness. And it just proved to be his uncle Chavalar's familiar, Spiderface. And Spiderface had like this care package. One of the things that he would do with Kai, partially like teaching about the Surfacer world and Surfacer things, was going over the calendar of holidays. And this is basically like a little package in a tea bag of holding that has little presents that are associated with all the holidays that you have missed since you got lost and found yourself on the surface, like 6 months ago. Everything was 6 months ago now. The jackals start eating people in Ulavan. Kai shows up somewhere near, in the High Forest, near Rooshfair. All these things happened like 6 months ago. And they're not connected, I don't think. I mean, really, I don't think they're connected at all. I mean that. They're not connected. I should start talking because you're just like assume that I'm saying so much about it that it's not connected. Anyway, Kai got this bag of little gifts. In a little tea bag of holding. Probably the most notable thing being a pince-nez of shade, little sunglasses that he could pitch on his nose that would like help with some of the effects of being out in the sunlight. There's also like this cryptic message from your uncle about like don't get involved with whatever your mother's up to.
Mm.
And you're like, what's she up to? Is this our problem? What? There's this general sense that like your mother has hatched many plots in the past, including your birth. Most of it's power grabs that have never really come to fruition, but you still kind of have this uneasy feeling that your mother's up to anything whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because it can get people killed. Just getting in the way. So it would be nice to actually know what she was up to.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know what she's up to, but I'm here and she's wherever she is.
She's wherever she is.
Or, yeah, unless she's somewhere near to where I am. But I don't know. So yeah, we could do with knowing.
Slightly farther down the road, you came across a huge rabid possum. And you put the creature out of its misery with, like, by burning it to death and smiting it
With
and
pain.
stabbing, shooting it in the face. You know, all the typical merciful acts that you do with a rabid animal. But that's sorted. You made your way to the Heller farm. You got a long rest. There was also a little thing like you spotted a wyvern in the sky, and you're like, "Oh, Lady Belafana's out again, doing what she does." But in the morning, there was I think you sent, actually it wasn't a knock on the cottage door, but it was you sent Sprinkles out to do what Sprinkles does. And when Sprinkles came back from her business, she had Lady Belafana with her, and Lady Belafana, she had scouted you while she was flying on Euphoria the Wyvern, and she informs you that the caravan has found a very nice inn a little further down the road. She's kind of happy that Lord Jomont foot the bill for everything, though he did insist on the best rooms and board, which she's probably she seems to be a little bit, you know, she's like happy and yet stressed by this turn of events, because one hand she didn't want to spend the money, but on the other hand she thinks he's spending too much. And that, I think that was kind of communicated. Maybe it wasn't because we don't remember anything, but
Vaguely remember that, yes.
vaguely remember. There's also the mention that the inn serves a dish that is native to Tyrell and Jomont's hometown, called Oakshield pudding. And this reminds Tyrell of some of the wisest, fairest aspects that she remembers about Lord Merritt Shieldbriar, who was Jomont's grandfather. Somebody, the old lord who Tyrell and Oakshield respected. I mean, is respected a fair description of Tyrell's relationship with, like, the grandfather with the old lord?
Yes,
That she
definitely.
liked. As well as remembering some of the worst traits of Renton Shieldbriar, who was Jomont's father, and a knave that Tyrell killed to protect her hometown. And then we ended the last session with the party just outside this inn where the caravan had spent the night, called Where the Maiden Dances. It's breakfast time. Where you're standing, kind of like what do they call it, like in the front, the car park, my brain has lost the word for it right now, but like in the driveway of this inn.
Courtyard.
Yeah, the courtyard. It seems to be a little oasis of curated hospitality after a very dusty, grimy, bedraggled stretch of the Iron Road coming from the north. I mean, it's like night and day with Ulavan. The inn is essentially, it looks like it's a 3-story manor house. There is a very large, stable outbuilding to the left side. Topiary frame either side of a large double oak door that forms the inn's entrance. The shrubs are trimmed to further evoke the name of the establishment, each resembling a dancing elf in different lyrical poses. Left of the stables, you spot a side drive, and there's like this valet parking situation. There's over 20 wagons and carts there, and three rows, and there's some little numbered posts. You see there's some very burly guards kind of monitoring that area, keeping watch over these vehicles. None of these guards you recognize. You see a halfling lad wearing a cap and a maroon livery ease a cart out of his collection of vehicles, drive it around to the front of the inn, where a well-dressed copper dragonborn waits with 4 outrider guard types, again, people you don't recognize. And 3 of the guard are in the process of mounting horses that were waiting at post. And the nosiest of you, I'm assuming that's Kai, but it could be any of you. You see that this halfling begin this exchange of reins with the last guard, and the Dragonborn is being assisted onto the cart, and the young halfling kind of dropping customer service type chit chat as he wishes the group a fair journey, and he gets a tip from the Dragonborn as he goes and kind of tips his hat. And as Kai is kind of like watching this situation, a teenage dwarf girl pops out of the stables and spots you. She's in similar maroon livery and cap, and as she tips her cap in your direction, you see it is embroidered with an insignia, this recurring dancing maiden motif. Good morning! And the teenager notices Sprinkles, and her eyes become saucers. And she's like, whoa, that's some horse!
She is not a horse.
She's awfully big. What is that? Like,
Well,
does that count as 10 hands tie? How tall is that?
oh crikey, do I know?
I mean, she's probably like 6 feet tall. She's probably about your height now when she's at her full height. When she's kind of like stretched out with claws up. But like in her cuddly form, she's probably only about 4.5 feet tall.
Right.
It kind of depends on like Sprinkles' posture in the given moment and how friendly Sprinkles is being. The girl seems to recognize Lady Belafana, and she's like, oh, good morning, lady. Are these people with you? And she's like, yes, these people are with me. And Lady Belafana looks between the three of you, and she's like, oh, do you think does Sprinkles want to be inside or out? The livestock are all in there's pens in the backyard and coops back there. All the rest of the animals are there. And there's one pen near the privy, which might be like home for her. It's got that has a little bit of the Queen's Rest vibe. A big yard with a privy. I mean, she could snuggle with the cows while we breakfast, but she could probably come inside as well.
On the assumption that she would probably take up a lot of room inside the inn, I'm going to cast Speak with Animals and just talk to Sprinkles and make sure she's okay staying outside by herself. And maybe ask her to keep an eye on things and on our mounts. I'm assuming they're stabled as well.
Yeah. If you say anything to Belafana as well as Sprinkles, I mean, Sprinkles is like fine. She's in good shape because she's had that full night's rest, and the wounds between the patching that you have done and the rest. All of her wounds from the jackal wares have healed over, so she's feeling pretty good. She does say that she's hungry.
I was going to say I will make sure. I'll make sure I get her a good meal, get her filled up.
But yeah, she's totally fine with this idea, like going and checking out the cows and seeing what they're doing, and maybe having a nap before continuing the day. And Belafana says that you've got maybe an hour. At least she's hoping. This is her timetable, I guess. Saying, yeah, we're going to leave in about an hour.
Okay. Then I'll just I'll get Sprinkles settled, get some breakfast sent out to her, and I guess we could have some to eat. Did we have all to eat before we left? Did we not?
Did you what?
Did we have breakfast before we left Widow Hellas?
You did not. You skipped breakfast saying you were thinking that you didn't want to take food from the little lady.
That was it.
So
then let's go eat.
Yeah, because there was mention that Jomont shelled out a lot of money and he paid for stuff. So the suggestion was that the brunt of breakfast was going to be on the house. So might as well eat there rather than take it from the little lady.
Oh.
So you send Sprinkles off with the little dwarf, the dwarf girl who is a stable hand. In the course of this conversation, you hear her name is Kinsey, and and hand sprinkles over to her care. And you see her, like, she's like all like happy and smiling, and she just starts talking to the owlbear as she, kind of motions along, like, this is the way we should go to the backyard. There's a lot of like exclamation about like, wow, you're pretty cool. Like, you really know what you're doing. Like most horses, I just have to like lead them with like leads and stuff, and you don't even have like leads. You just lead yourself.
I'm gonna call over. She's not stupid.
The door's like, I'll say, she's really smart. And you just see them disappear into the barn.
I'm gonna shout again. Can you give her a brush down, please?
Sure thing.
Thanks.
No problem. Harton's just waiting. Harton's kind of watching whatever you're doing. I mean, he's immediately taken on the position of you're the commanding officer, Terrell.
Okay.
And is deferring for your orders. So he's just kind of standing at attention, waiting to see, what you're going to do next. Frito Coinspinner, the merchant guy, he's like kind of impatiently staying through all this, and he's like ready to go inside. So he kind of like heads off ahead of you guys, not waiting for like you to finish your business. You see him kind of just head into the big oak doors, and as he opens the oak doors, a little of music kicks off, which is actually what's playing now. There's sounds of like a bustling in, some music playing in the background. General congenial conversation gets louder while the door is open and then shuts again behind him. But there is this thing is that you're supposed to be introducing him to whoever he needs to talk to. And he hasn't waited around for that. So I guess it's up to you whether or not you're just kind of like irritated. Lady Belafon isn't paying attention. She's probably already forgotten he exists. But the three of you at least noticed that guy went off into the inn.
Well, considering he invited himself anyway, I don't care. He can go do whatever he wants. If he wants to wander off by himself, it's not my concern.
Are you going to head inside?
Yes. I'll crook a finger at Harton. Come on, lad.
You hear he just gets like this little hup sound, like to acknowledge your orders.
Okay.
And he falls into line. The interior of the Maiden Dances, it's cozy, it's gregarious. The furniture and the wood paneling and floors, they're all well polished and tidy. There's a bar and reception situation to your left just inside the entrance, where there are various kegs and bottles and placards outlining the food and drink available for breakfast. There's a light fragrance of beeswax and lemons and cinnamon in the air. There are comfy leather chairs and tables that are artfully arranged in clusters around the main room. Maybe 2/3 are full of various patrons chatting and eating in good spirits. In the corner directly opposite the bar, there is a small stage and dance floor. The dance floor is currently empty, but there is a trio of musicians playing music that varies between low-key, for like those early morning risers who may be a little bit hungover from the night before, and invigorating to kind of put the pep into people's step, like the oral caffeine type of music, to kind of jumpstart people's days. And it fluctuates between these two, maybe because they're like, well, some people prefer one, some people prefer the others, and by playing both of them, we make everybody equally irritated and happy. The inn is amply lit between sconces on the walls, and there's 2 overhead chandeliers. And you see at least 6 people weaving through the tables with flagons and platters of food. They're distinguished. They're wearing laurels of wildflowers on their heads, and they seem to be dressed in old-style high elven garb with like swooshy, diaphanous skirts and like bell sleeves and pointy collars and Um, just the hose and slippers kind of situation. There's also a dapper halfling that is very striking in a dark green brocade jacket and a burgundy ascot, and he seems to be directing the inn management from behind the bar. His blonde hair is a little long, but it's shaved at the sides. He has a center part, and his hair has been pomaded with product, so it waves just so. He has a mustache with slight upturned swoop. He has kind of like a hipster artsy Victorian look going on. Like, this is a salon and you've just been invited in. The manager catches sight of like the five of you, and almost immediately, and he calls, "Welcome, new guests." And he spots Lady Belafana, and he's like, "Lady Than, are these the delayed friends Lord Shieldbriar mentioned? I am your host, Casper Farquaad. You look like you've had a bit of a wild trip."
I think that's a fair, fair description.
Yep.
He's thinking, Lord Shieldbriar did reserve rooms for you. It is a bit late in the day. And Lady Belafana kind of like was like, don't really worry about that. She's like, yes, Mr. Farquaad. But you should probably just circle the wagons for checkout. We won't delay beyond breakfast. And then she turns to you. She's like, okay, if you want them, you can get the keys and just go up to those rooms. But we aren't going to be hanging out here.
Terrell needs a bath.
Oh well,
We
there
all
are
need a bath, don't we?
there are baths here, but yeah, you can totally take a bath, but I'm not sure you can like eat and bath.
Oh no. Okay, then food it is. I'll have to cope. Where's
Like the manager interrupts, saying, "We could have food brought to your bath. This is not a problem. You will have to order here, and then have it brought up to you if that's what you're interested in."
Okay. Yeah. I think I'd like to do that, but I need to find Lord Jomont so I can pass off Harton onto him.
Okay.
So I'll order food with the bar, get him to get some hot water up to my room, and then go find Jomont to take Harton off my hands.
All right. The baths are actually not en suite. They're separate, but they are
Okay.
private baths. But there's like 4 of them that are dedicated to the best rooms, like the top floor of this inn.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, you find out that Lady B has already like requested one of them herself, and that's what she was getting ready to do, is go off and actually have a bath and get straight for the day. Because she is showing signs that she's been out and about and roughing it with her wyvern overnight, and not really hadn't paid any attention to that before.
Right. Okay.
And in terms of your food, Casper Farquaad, he's like, okay, all of you are taking baths. All of you?
Sure, why not?
You're not getting it back with me.
It's
You-
enough- it's-
I mean, are there multiple bathing?
There are. There's
Okay.
just enough. If everybody wants to have their own private bath, there's just enough for everyone to have their own private bath. If you elect, they'll get it started, the heating of the water and all that kind of stuff. In terms of food, if you also want food, Casper will point your attention to the posted menus.
Yeah. Yep, food. as
Most
well.
definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
This is me finding the food.
Oh,
So there's 2 placards.
is this going to make me hungry?
It might make you hungry.
Oh,
So there's a wide range of foods, and I'm sharing that. There's also a libations menu, and Casper will say to all of you once he sees you start to examine the boards. He'll say, breakfast is no additional charge given the level of Lord Jomont's patronage last night. Oh, except that does not include all beverages, I am afraid. If you want something harder than milk, tea, or bean liquor for breakfast, the rates will be double. I know it's inconvenient, but there is a municipal campaign radiating from Secomber that encourages this policy. It's spread in popularity all the way to my little inn. It's meant to curtail drinking and riding while the roads are busiest. There seems to be a rash of riding while intoxicating in the greater area around Secomber.
wow, drinking and driving in D&D.
Most patrons don't mind the surcharge, thankfully. After all, it's a small kindness to not run down strangers in a drunken haze.
I just had the image of D&D standing for drinking and driving.
Drinking and driving.
Big.
So I shared the food, and there's also the harder libations. I think I have cucumber water on there, which is only mildly alcoholic. It's more like kombucha, like it's like that 0.05% or something alcoholic content. There is like milk, tea, what he says bean liquor, but everyone else refers to as bean juice. So you can put in food orders for yourself, as well as something to be taken out to Precious Sprinkles in the backyard.
Okay, so owlbears, are they carnivores, or do they just eat anything?
She was gobbling on goblins, wasn't she? Before.
She was.
She's definitely not vegetarian vegan. I think she's kind of omnivore. Like she likes some meat. It's both
Then,
bears and owls will hunt stuff.
Yeah.
But they also will consume vegetable matter.
Okay,
that
then
honey.
I'll order 2 bacon platters and a cheese, fruit, and honey board for Sprinkles.
All right. Feast for Albert.
Yes, please. And you just put it all on one plate for her, if you don't mind. And then I'll have a cheese, fruit, and honey board as well.
Okay.
So that's 20 copper pieces, yeah. And I just want milk.
Oh, it's no charge. It's no charge.
Okay.
Unless you want something alcoholic, it is no charge.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Didn't know if that'd cover Sprinkles as well.
Oh, well, it is your there's a certain amount to feed, but I'm assuming since you're ordering this food for your Albert, you say? It is some form of emotional support beast. And
Maybe?
We had to get her a vest.
Where the Maiden Dances certainly supports your right to have an emotional support beast. So yes, that's no problem. As I said before, the patronage of Lord Jomont last night was quite extravagant, so breakfast is absolutely on the house, yes. The least we can do.
Okay.
So you make your orders. That was Terrell. What is everybody else having?
Kai will have the blackberry waffles.
I think.
I kind of want a tavern that does all this. Sorry, go on.
I'd like the Yelena would like the spinach and cheese omelet and tea. As it is a bit early to be drinking.
Yeah. Kai wants a bottle of wine, but he's gonna have tea instead.
I'm writing this down for some reason.
Put those orders in.
I know. Just like
Yeah, knock on the door in half an hour from Just Eat. Oh dear.
So you said in your orders, and as you're doing your orders, you spot Lady Belafon. She kind of like excuses herself, says, "You guys, I'm gonna go ahead and head up." And you see her kind of like swipe a piece of bacon off of a passing platter, and then she kind of like sneaks upstairs, like she seems to be trying to like get by without anybody noticing her. But she disappears up the stairs. As you finish putting in your orders, you hear a shout and a call from Lord Jomont, who has apparently recognized you from across the room. He's like, "Ho there, friends! Terrell, Kai, Elena, come join us!" And you see Lord Jomont is with almost all the other faces you recognize from the caravan. And there's like Ragnar, there's Terry, there's Daisy Brownbank and Charmony Little, there's Badger Sweeney, all of his guards. Noodles Fabian is the only person who's not clearly there. And it's like the staff has shoved 4 smaller tables together to accommodate this large group. And there's just like 2 servers attending all the people. They're setting down plates as Jomont waves and calls you over.
I'm gonna go over with Harton in tow, and just say, look, we are heading up for a bath because it's been very crazy 24 hours, and I'll fill you in on the road. But this lad is a soldier and he needs a job, and I immediately thought you might be able to provide him with something. He's a good lad.
Right. Well, happy to oblige.
If you can't find room for him, then I will, I'll sort something out for him as we go along, and I'll pay his wages. But I just thought an extra soldier might be useful.
Oh, no. It's perfectly fine. Harton, come up, pull a seat. Let's talk. Tell me about your experience. And there's this like brief exchange where like Hart just describes that he's maybe trained with like he was with the Water Davy Militia for like 4 months, and he's had a few freelance guard jobs. And you hear like Lord Jomont is kind of like, well, that's a bit green. It wouldn't be fair to pay you as much. I'm perfectly fine. There is a place for you. We certainly could use another hand, another guard, helping with caravan. So that's fair. But it wouldn't be fair to pay you as much as the more veteran soldiers out the gate. But I'm sure you'll gain useful experience and training on the road. And if Terrell, thinks this is a recommendation, that's good enough for me. How does 10 gold per day sound? Plus, of course, we'd also get you kitted out the rest of the way in Secomber. Is 10 gold good? And Harton's eyes are kind of like, oh my gosh. He seems amazed at the amount of money on offer, and he's like, absolutely, sir. And he looks at you, Terrell, and he's like, I can't believe it, with his expression. And there's like all this gratitude on his face aimed towards you for kind of like putting him in this position. And Jomont, he pulls out 3 platinum, and he slides it to the young soldier. He says, let this be a down payment for your time while we handle business in Secomber. And if you find a situation you prefer in the town, no harm done. But if you want to continue on with us, you're welcome.
That sounds good.
And then Jomont says, I think it's only fair to bring your attention to an item on the menu. If you haven't ordered breakfast yet, you should absolutely try the oat shield pudding. It's brilliant. The chef does it perfectly here, and rightly so. His family invented the dish.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I made him an offer to join our party. I'm hoping that he will join the caravan and act as a cook. I mean, it'd probably be a bit humbling for Wolfie's skills, to be sure, but I added in a sponsorship of a restaurant in Parnas to sweeten the deal.
Well, hopefully he does, and I can try it. Because I've ordered something else for breakfast.
Oh, blast. Well, hopefully he does. I'm still waiting for his response to my offer. And
Right.
make it clear that like you're going off to like do your thing, do the bath, do the grooming, and it kind of bids you farewell. And as you walk away, he picks up a conversation with like one of the people who's serving him oak shield pudding, and she's the server. You know, he starts to ask her about like how her day's going, and she starts off with this whole story about like, oh yeah, like that whole thing I was talking about with my alchemy studies, it's not really working out. And she starts going on this whole diatribe, and he's listening, like he's just making all the best friends with all the people here. You guys are free, like go up. There's somebody, one of the staff will greet you at the base of the stairs, and once they realize who you are, they'll escort you up to the 3rd floor, show you where your rooms are, and they'll show you where the baths are. And you'll find these rooms were like very luxurious with like, king-size beds and this glamorous linens. Everything smells nice. Everything is super clean and plush and snuggly, and the drapes, when you pulled over the windows, make the rooms completely dark. It would have been a nice place to sleep.
Hmm.
I'm just thinking that.
Had you actually gotten to sleep there. But you have access to these rooms for like another hour. And then they show you the baths. And likewise, there are these individual private baths, and they are just as luxurious in terms of having very deep sunken tubs, hot steamy water, a variety of soaps and perfumes and oils, like scrubbing loofahs. There's a face mask for Kai. Any luxuries you might need for your grooming, they're available in these bathrooms. And there's like a little bell so you can call for stuff. And almost as soon as like you get to your room, and ushering in with the servants with linens for the bath, on their heels comes platters with the foods that you ordered. And they set up a little table by the tub that is steaming with water, and point out the bell and say, call us if you need anything. We'll leave you to your privacy, to your meal, and to your bath. If you need any assistance getting out of your armor and stuff, they're free. They will assist you. But you're free to get scrubbed up. And I wish like I had it programmed into Fantasy Grounds to like assign you a long bath, like a long rest.
Yeah.
But everybody receives a long bath.
Ooh. Fairly sure we all need it.
If you tell them, hey, can you polish up my armor while I'm in here? They will do their best to kind of give it a nice shine, get any extra mud, guts, blood stains just scrubbed off of that. Give it a good polish.
Cool. Okay.
Darn Kai's robes. They sew up the pocket on Yelena's vest that was torn by the rock.
I had forgotten about that.
So yeah, your pockets are all intact now. So you're all groomed and looking good. About an hour has passed. Or I don't know, how long do you guys take?
Well, if we've only got an hour, I'm thinking I will sit and just soak for about 15 minutes, then eat in the bath, and then have a good clean. So try and get out within the hour.
Yeah, I mean, this hour idea was the idea that was rented by Lady Belafana. This is her desired timetable. Jomont said nothing about time. He's just eating and chatting with people downstairs.
Right. Well, I mean, I suppose we're more attached with Bellafauna, aren't we? So if she decides to leave, we'll go with her, and then if Jomont just sticks around, you'll have to catch us up. So yeah, I will. Terrell will make sure that she's out within the hour to be ready for Bellafauna.
Okay. What about the other, Yelena and Kai?
Yeah, Kai will obviously take as long as he can to relax, because it's what he's good at. But yeah, I'll be out within the hour.
Kai,
Same.
while you're soaking in the tub, do a history check.
Oh, at least the spider didn't drop on your lap.
That's a 16.
Yeah.
As you're soaking in the tub, and you don't have to really do anything, really think about anything, it does keep niggling in your thoughts, this whole business about staying away from your mother's plans. And that initial knee-jerk idea you had about, like, does this have anything to do with me? Like, is my uncle saying this to me on purpose for a specific reason, or is this just like one of those general warnings? This reoccurring theme of, is this our problem, is niggling in your thought.
Right.
And there is this fuzzy memory in your head about something from history. You feel like there's this really old history thing about a cult in Drow society. A cult that split away from the worship of Lolth. And this would have been thousands of years ago, perhaps? And that cult did have something to do with elementals. But you can't remember any more details.
Okay.
So there's that little kind of like sinking feeling about, like, huh. Just a huh. Yelena, how's your bath? Did I already ask you?
Basically the same as everybody else, trying to get bathed and eat within that hour time frame. Water only stays so warm, but for so long. So,
I mean, you can ring
That's
for
true.
more hot water, and they will absolutely sort that out.
that will be the rest of the campaign. Yelena constantly asking for hot water and
Hot
just staying in the tub.
Bring food, ale, and hot water, please.
Bring me some salads. Keep my clothes maximum green. Do not use bleach. And keep the water hot. So you've had your teas, you've had your milk, you've had your fruit plates and your spinach and cheese omelets and whatever. Your blackberry waffles. And you've all gotten you dried off. You're like pink cheeked, clean. Maybe a little bit wet hair. I don't know. Maybe Kai has spells for that.
Do you know? I don't think I've got anything that's not destructive, to be fair.
Like drawing someone's hair with a firebolt may not be safe.
No.
I mean, if you stood there with a big ball of fire between your hands, and didn't actually let it go.
Can't you prestidigitate the water away or something?
I don't think Kai has anything useful like prestidigitation.
No, I have nothing useful.
All destruction.
Burning hands, I could, dry you off with those.
Like set the end on fire and you could like just, dry your hair in the radiance.
Yeah. No, that'd work.
I'll just go get another towel.
Yeah.
Get another towel.
But yeah, there's plenty of towels if you want to just towel it dry. Okay, so Kai was having that like kind of historical. There's something I vaguely remember something that might not be good. I don't really remember the details though. Meanwhile, Terrell, Yelena, actually Terrell, because I don't think Yelena was there for the whole Jomont thing. Terrell, you roll an insight check.
Okay, insight there. Ooh. Oh, could have been worse.
It occurs to you, Jomont. Two things occur to you. Jomont offered Ranton, whatever the hell his name is. God, Renton offered him 10 gold a day because he was so green as his starter salary. And it totally occurs to you while you're soaking in the bath that wait a second, that's what Lady Belafana is paying you guys per day, and she hasn't paid you yet.
Oh.
Good question. I guess we. Is it all at the end, or do we get paid per day?
She was supposed to pay you like a 10-day up front. So she's behind. She owed you each 100 gold. So as you guys make your way,
Right.
as you guys make your way out of the baths, get all your stuff together.
I'm gonna mention that to Kai and Yelena. Just like, it's just popped into my head that we are owed money by Lady Belafana.
And you run into Lady Belafana on the landing. She's leaving her room. She's got her 2 sacks. They're stuffed to capacity. She is also, looks like she has recently taken a bath. She's got like the pink cheeks and stuff. She's wearing the same dress that she was wearing before, but it's obviously looks like it's done. There's been some prestidigitation done with that to kind of like mend any places where it was torn, kind of get it back in order. And also, you think that there might have been some effort made to maybe dye it a different color, but it's still very resemblant of what she was wearing before, just tidied up a bit. And she's like, "Oh, hi. You everyone ready to go?"
Shall we all line up in front of her and book her exit?
Yeah, would she have?
Not too threatening though.
Did she hear me say that to the others, or?
No, you just finished mentioning it to them, and then, like as if on cue, she pops out of her room with her bags and is ready to head downstairs.
Right. Then I guess I'll look at the others as if to say, do we say something?
Yeah, go on. Say something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just gonna like hold my hand out to stop her from passing and say, Lady Belafana, I don't want to be impolite or don't want to be rude, but you owe us some money.
She kind of pauses, and her eyes get really big, and her cheeks get redder, like she's kind of embarrassed. Did I forget to pay you?
Yeah, I believe the agreement was you were going to pay us 10 days up front.
Oh boy. Oh wow. I'm sorry. I totally forgot. It's been so busy. Yes. I really need to pay you. Hold a second. Just hold a second. And she dumps one of her bags down, and she goes like digging in it, and it takes her forever. It's like the coin bag is at the bottom of her bag. So it's like trying to dig something out of your purse. You know it's there, but every single thing you're pulling out of the purse is not the thing that you're looking for. So it takes her like 5 minutes, but finally she pulls out this coin purse and she starts counting out the coins. These are also in plat, but I have already added 100 gold to each of your inventories.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just signify. She has paid you. She's like, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
No, it's fine. And I'm really sorry for bringing it up. It's just obviously, we're
No,
gonna...
it's good. I mean, especially because we're gonna get to Secomber today, and if ever there's a place where you're gonna spend money, that's the place. Yeah, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure the next place we're gonna be there. You can actually spend anything, this kind of coin on anything. It's not Parnast. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys ready to head downstairs?
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, let's go.
We follow her down.
Yep.
So you head downstairs. You see that Lord Jomont is still at the table with everyone else, but it seems the time you've been absent, there has been some activity. Like maybe some people have left the table, gone off, gotten their stuff together, and brought it back down, and just regathered for to finish up having one last cup of coffee or something, a cup of bean juice. I'm sorry, or tea or whatever before they take to the road. So it's the same collection of faces. Terry's now not present, so he's gone off somewhere. But it does look like people are more gathered and ready to leave than they were before. But Jomont will see Kai and Yelena now, since he really only talked to you before, Terrell, and he'll bid you greetings.
Hello.
Hello.
Jomont, he notices you're wearing a new ring, Kai, and he comments, "Oh, that ring is excellent quality.
Thank you.
Did you find that in Ulavan?"
Yes.
Nothing suspicious about that response at all.
It's very nice. Do you mind if I look at it?
Do I mind if you look at it? I guess not, no. I hold my hand out to him instead of taking it off.
He takes it off your finger. He's like, again, if you don't mind, and you just see he just gives us this curious look inside and out, and kind of is eyeing it for a few seconds in detail, and then he puts it back on your finger. He says, "Thank you."
Okay.
I like a good ring.
Did you notice anything off about it? Anything? No?
Oh no, it's quite nice. It's excellent quality.
Cool.
There does seem to be a little symbol on it. I don't think. I mean, I don't really know about this sort of thing. It could be the designer's mark, but it also could be a magic rune. I don't know. Do you know if it's magical?
Do I know if it's magical?
Yes, you do know if it's magical.
Right.
You know it's a ring of
a little
protection.
bit magical. Right, okay, yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. A little bit magical, yeah.
All right. That's probably why it's so nice. Yes, okay. And then his interest kind of fades. He realizes that he knows nothing about magic and he's just babbling at this point. He kind of shifts his attention away from you, gives a nod to Yelena. Good morning.
I nod back. Good morning.
And then Terrell, you notice that there is there's a man approaching, a human man, has a ruddy complexion, kind of red curly hair, and likewise a beard. The hair looks like it would kind of be very standing out at the ends and unruly, but he has a chef's toque kind of scrunched down over it, kind of keeping it under control. And he approaches the table toward Lord Jomont, like he's getting ready to engage in conversation. But he catches sight of you. And he stops dead in his tracks. And he looks at you. And he looks at Lord Jomont. And he just kind of, his mouth opens. And he seems like he doesn't know what he should do.
Where am I in relation to Lord Jomont?
I would say that you guys were near the table, like maybe across the table. You're at least within talking range. You guys aren't seated at the table like everyone else is, but you're like in the crowd.
So is Jomont behind me, in front of me?
He's like across the table from you, like maybe, I don't know, 7 to 10 feet away. And
So facing me.
Yeah, he's facing you. And then the guy is
the
to
chef's behind him.
Is to his right, like maybe another 3 or 4 feet away, like not quite in Jomont's range of view, like hasn't entered his peripheral vision quite yet.
Okay. Then I'm just
a few seconds shy of noticing the chef approaching.
Then I'm just gonna look him dead in the eye, the chef, and just slowly shake my head.
And you see the chef gulp, do a like 180, and kind of skulk back towards the kitchen.
Okay. That isn't what I was intending, but never mind.
I should have made you roll an intimidation check, but like, I don't know. Just feel like...
I mean, I can do that. Hang on.
You can roll an intimidation check.
Oh, no.
Okay, let me roll. Where the hell is Jomont? Okay, so you only rolled an 8 on intimidation. So the chef doesn't react immediately. He kind of just stands there and he's a little stupefied and shrugs. Giving one chance for Jomont to notice him being there. But Jomont only rolls a 10. So, let me just roll another 20, see. And so this guy, he rolled a 2. So he thinks for like another 3 seconds. And then he proceeds to slink back into the kitchen.
All right.
Because with only a 2, he's like, this is not my pay grade. Figuring this out is not for me.
And this was the guy who he knew my family, so he knew me.
Do a history check.
Okay. Not my best stat. Nope.
Whoa. Okay.
Wow.
So you didn't specifically recognize this guy, but you do know that Jomont, that there's been some talk about this dish called oat shield pudding that's being served in this inn, and that Jomont said earlier that the chef is related to the person who invented that dish. So you have a feeling that even though you didn't recognize this guy, he was probably from Oakshield. And from the age he looked, he would have been older than... He was younger than you, but older than Jomont. So it's possible he might have been old enough around the time that events happened.
To have heard about it.
When you killed Daddy, that he would have been old enough to be aware and to like know who you are and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Now that you've joined this group of people, and once your attention goes away from like the retreating back of this chef, Terrell, you notice like Lady Bellefonte is there with you, and she's a bit fidgety, and as she takes in the noise and looks about the room full of people and just kind of takes in the group of people kind of talking with camaraderie at the table. And she kind of says in a low voice, like not super loud and hesitantly, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
does Jomont hear her?
No, he doesn't hear her.
Then
This
I'm
is the
just
point
going
where we
to...
start rounding everybody up.
Yep. Tyrell's going to stand up and say loudly, "Yes, Lady Belafona, we are ready to go."
All right, so this catches Jomont's attention. And he's like, we should have a toast. We should have a toast before we head out. Is everyone physically, if not emotionally, prepared to hit the road? And there's like not anyone physically, if not emotionally, prepared to hit the road. We should have a toast. He's like calls for like serving people like the Riverside Reserve, Lady's Fortune. Who wants a glass? One more round. We shall toast the caravan with the Than's family's finest wine. And Parnast, we will toast Parnast.
I'm just gonna hold a hand up and say, "Milk, please."
Belafana is just like, oh my god. It's really amazing wine, but it's so expensive. We haven't even reached Secomber, and you have spent so much. Like we don't need to toast with that wine. Yeah. And Jomont's like, wait, yes, pardon, I hear your point, but my reasoning is the hospitality here is so fine. We may not have another opportunity on this trip. I mean, sure, there's Secomber, but you will be busy with your aqueducts and sewer maps, and I'll have to report to Lord Till, and your escort, and he like waves at the three of you. They have their things. We'll be occupied in Secomber, so we cannot toast there to our journey. So let us toast here. And she's like, she's like, okay. And as she's starting to say okay, Jomont just he continues. He's like, well, unless I assumed there would be nothing on the road, unless you know otherwise. Tell me, Belafona, how did you find the towns on the trip west to Rouge Fair? Come to think of it, have you not been here before, or Secomber? How's that? You had to travel here to Rouge Fair. Didn't you come this way? And he looks like he's really confused, suddenly trying to compute how Belafana traveled from Parnast to Honeyfest. And she starts to get this kind of panicked expression because the answer is that she flew on her pet wyvern that she does not want him to know about.
All right. I'm gonna try and rescue her and just say, well, I mean, obviously, Lady Belafona is saving as much money as possible she can into the rebuilding of her town. Yeah, I suspect she avoided a lot of inns on the way to Rouge Fair.
When you mention she's trying to save money, she looks even more embarrassed and panicked.
Oh,
she's like, oh my god. I mean, it's a good excuse, but oh my god. Yeah, I didn't want to mention that around, make it obvious.
I wasn't implying that she was skin. I was implying that she feels that the money's best spent.
She's being financially responsible.
Yes, unlike Lord Jomont,
who's spending it all on avocado toast.
Yep.
Ragnar also jumps in. He's like, we did not follow the Dillenbeer Road, sir. Seeing as it was only myself and the lady on the journey west, we moved quickly off the main road. My lady is good sport about camping, very capable, very brave, like a soldier she is. And Belafana is just misery, and she's like, yes, we traveled quickly. You could say the scenery, it just flew by.
Right, so Tyrell's just going to clap her hands together and just say, right, come on, let's get going.
All right. Jomont, like, he's kind of, but the wine, and everyone just is. Once people start scooting him out of the way, out of the inn, he's like, okay. I mean, if nobody really wants to toast, we won't toast. You see, he deflates a little bit about like not getting to toast, but he goes along with what everybody wants to do.
We'll have a toast when we get to where we're going, if we get there alive.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Of course. Yeah, that's a really good idea. We toast when we get there. Lady Belophonis, you said you were growing wine. You had your own vintages you've been working on. We'll toast with that when we get to Parnast.
Yeah.
Huzzah! And as you like are ushering him out the front door, and the manager is just kind of waving you off, Casper Farquaad, he's like, ta-ta! Do come back! Do come back, Lord Jomont! We so appreciated your custom. You hear like Lord Jomont like pipes up really briefly about, oh, wait, what about the chef? I need to talk to. And everybody just keeps like he just keeps being carried along on this wave of people headed out toward the caravan to get your wagons and horses and carts that are now at the ready because Lady Belafana ordered them brought out an hour before.
Right. I'm gonna go over to Sprinkles, just give her a quick hug and check her over, make sure she's looking okay and that she's been fed.
Yeah, all of the animals have kind of been Terry and Noodles Fabian, and now a couple of the guards. They all are kind of have the groups of livestock of the cattle and the goats and whatnot. And Terry's pigs, all in their different groups. They've kind of herded them into ready to like head out onto the road. And Sprinkles is just kind of, hanging out with them. She like she's working kind of like a sheepdog. Every once in a while she'll be like bouncing around the herds and kind of helping run them into formation. If she sees a creature go trying to run off, you see her chase down one cow. Feral cow. I'm thinking about Montreal now. Runaway cows.
Oh dear.
I'm sorry, I'm just so tickled thinking about the cows. Okay, but Sprinkles like catches up with them and is like, "Hey, I'm bigger than you," and kind of like, hoots them to back off and head back in the opposite direction, back towards the herd. And she seems to be living it. She seems to be loving it. And she gets closer to you, and you can smell her bacon breath, and all is good with the world with Sprinkles.
Fab.
So the caravan, everybody gets in their wagons, assumes the position. I'm assuming you guys are riding?
Yeah.
Harton hops on. And at this point, Frito Coin Spinner, the halfling guy, he comes running out of the inn. And he's like, "Wait for me!" Like, dude never talked to anybody, and he just noticed you guys were leaving, and he's like, "I'm going where you're going." He scrambles into a random wagon with like bolts of fabric kind of lashed to his back, so he's like barely able to like make it. It's a real struggle, but somebody takes pity on him and helps him up, sit in the back of the wagon. I think the guy plays it off enough that they just assume that he knows what he's doing and he belongs there, even though they don't recognize him. But the caravan sets out successfully, almost within the hour that Lady Bellavana was hoping for. Like maybe 20 minutes later.
Well, it's not too bad.
So the caravan continues down the road. A little more than 10 miles after the caravan continues its journey southeast from Ulavan, or you're like about 10 miles south of where you were at that point where you hit like the crossroads sign. And at this point, the road begins to bend true south. The quality of the road goes downhill again a little bit as well. You've left the section of the Iron Road that Where the Maiden Dances considers its purvey and maintenance. Still, it's much smoother, it's much nicer going than the rutted stretch that was around Ulavan and all the dirt roads. It seems to be circling the Forlorn Hills that are growing more and more prominent to the west. But where previously there were patches of grasslands and prairie that graced the countryside to your left, a river appears in the distance, and you think this might be the river Dillenbeer that Ragnar mentioned in conversation earlier. As the day wears on, the roadside grows busier. Ranches and homesteads shift from sporadic outcroppings to dense tracks where you can no longer tell where one ends and the next begins. As you approach Secomber, the quality and nature of the main road gradually changes again. The smooth quartz cobbles become grouted by some kind of dark alchemical substance. There's a flash rain shower, and you see that rather than growing slick or muddy, the dark substance in the road's composition seems to repel rain that would otherwise pool on the traffic highway, rolling it instead to cisterns strategically located along the route that are connected to pipes rejoining the groundwater. There are still dirt road byways, and these become more frequent, as do the number of carts bearing fish that's freshly caught riverside as they join you on the trek to Secomber. Compared to the likes of Rochefair and Ulavan, Secomber is a buzzing metropolis. It is by no means a city. You could easily fit it into a single ward of a place like Waterdeep. But the town nests at a conflux of trade roads and rivers. There is a rich history of fallen empires and legendary heroes that once approached the same sloping rise you travel now, framed by red and pink granite cliffs of the Forlorn Hills and the foggy expanse of the high moor beyond the Dillenbeer River. What's more, several lords and legends who have called Secomber their home have actively promoted the town as the most hospitable waypoint for travelers and adventurers alike for 100 miles. At the final approach, you see a stone wall with barbican towers hewn from the aforementioned red granite. It marks the entry to the town proper. The wall, it extends to the riverside, where a drawbridge stretches to the shore beyond. From what you can see of the opposite shore, a wall extends southward along those banks, but it's not as high or reinforced. Secomber seems to use the river as a moat for its main defense along that eastern side. You don't have a good vantage of what's going on to the west, but the Forlorn Hills would make for rough terrain that would be a natural barrier for an invading army, if not blocking access to the town completely. The reddish stone city walls of Secomber are gilded in black and gold, and they might appear stark and garish on their own, but this edifice, rising a good 30 feet over the gate approach, is softened by touches of flowers, fern, moss, and lichen. The stone battlements are crenellated at the top, but it is also overgrown in several spots with vines and wild roses. And I think at this point, maybe we should go ahead and take an adventurous break
Sounds good.
and resume with
Okay.
entering Secomber.
Alrighty.
Back in a bit. I'm back.
Have you watched Wednesday?
I have not. I mean, I've seen
Oh.
the dance, of course,
Well, yeah, obviously.
because viral.
It's so good.
But I'm doing like my Netflix break, and
Alright.
I shall probably resume Netflix before the end of the year. So
Okay.
be catching up on that and various series.
I'm back.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Come back. I shared the link for Sirenscape because I didn't do it before, but Grim says that the old one.
I had
works.
it. Was it? Maybe it was from last time.
Yeah, it apparently
Yeah.
it worked. The old link worked. I guess they are the same thing. Maybe because when I connected to Sirenscape today, I hadn't been logged out, so maybe that was the difference. Is the session hasn't expired,
Right.
which is weird.
Because the last time it didn't work. But anyway, never mind.
Yeah, I know. It's sending confusing signals. But everyone's back, except for, like, my brain's not back because I just discovered something I don't think is uploaded. So 1 minute while I figure out what the hell I'm doing. So it already is. Okay, the thing I'm looking for already exists. So where the hell is it? Let me find the thing that I lost. Okay, since I'm the last one being physical and emotionally prepared again, but here's hoping you guys are still good. I'm gonna change the music. I think this is gonna be more like entering a town with city gates. I'm gonna turn it down though. Holy cow! Whoa! Big energy entry.
It's very like Shrek, you know, with what's his face is oh damn it, I've forgotten it. Never mind. Can't remember his name.
Farquaad.
Farquaad.
Okay, so that was it. Da da da. And the rest of it's just gonna be like sounds too much river water lapping. But hey, I got that little da da da. So the caravan slows on approach of the gate arch just before you get to amidst these battlements that are crenellated at the top. There is a wide arched gate. You see that there is you pick out ornamental gargoyles perched among the green of vines and wild roses that are growing over these town gates. And the gargoyles kind of lend this, they add to the enchanted atmosphere that this town, the town of Secomber, seems to be going for. In addition, you spot a purple cat hopping into view, jumping onto one of the gargoyles' heads, and it then settles down to nap in the late afternoon sun. It is late afternoon now by the time you reach Secomber's gates. It seems like some municipal effort has been dedicated to giving Secomber like more of a fairy tale medieval town glamour, less smells and dirt than your average frontier town, more Disneyland. Like, you're definitely not in Ulavan anymore. There are blue banners hanging from the battlements, and you can see a few guards are strolling in the ramparts above. They don't seem surprised by the violet-colored cat napping on gargoyles. Caravan, it slows on the approach to this gate arch. You make out 6 guards and 1 official overseeing the traffic allowed into Secomber. This puts you into a queue of wagons, but it moves pretty efficiently. You aren't stuck there for hours like you might be at Waterdeep's gates. The fact that you're close enough to even see the people running the town gates before traffic halted is proof that you are not in Waterdeep. It takes maybe 15-20 minutes for the queue to progress to where the caravan is, up front, and actually entering the town. Everybody make a perception check.
Oh no, it's another one I'm not good at. Yeah.
I see all.
Indeed. Unlike Kai.
Is that a 1 I rolled?
Yep.
Bloody hell.
Kai's all like, look, a purple cat. And Terrell, you're like not much better. You're like, man, we've been on the road all day and now we have to queue. This is just like civilization. That's the way of it. But Elena, you notice things like you spot the Lord's Alliance insignia on some of the gate soldiers. And you notice that none of those soldiers are really standing at attention. One of the guards you spot atop the battlements has propped his crossbow against the wall and is now dangling his boots over the side as he just sits and reads a book. These city gates, these walls, these battlements, they rise like a good, 30 feet overhead. So you like crane your head up and look, and there's just like this guy sitting next to one of the gargoyles reading a book as the cat snoozes nearby. Some of these guards look like they've been skipping training for a while. You see a couple that are just sitting and eating double-decker sandwiches and fried potatoes. The other guards are kind of a mix. Some are tough, lean, and mean sorts, like they have maybe more of a mercenary air. And others are glorified local militia. I mean, like, it's definitely a law and order presence at these city gates, but it's not indicative of an intimidating army. And you have this feeling that if Terrell was like paying attention to them, she would be none too pleased by the state of these soldiers. Like, you think about like the handful of elven rangers that were responsible for Roosevier's defense, they could probably make some of these chumps cry with just like a withering glare.
What do I have any instinct as to why this is? Is it just the overconfidence in the walls?
There might be some confidence in the walls. There might just be like a sense that these soldiers are in the habit of not having a lot to do. You know that there's supposed to be a significant presence of the Lord's Alliance in Secomber, that they have a fort. Lord Jomont did mention this on the ride, is that he is going to have to drop in and visit there, and that's probably where he's going to be staying while you're in Secomber. And he does mention, like, if you guys need a place to bunk and don't want to pay for an inn, sure, some kind of accommodation can be found for you at Lord's Hill. So you know that there's supposed to be this presence, but you don't know why these guys are such slackers.
I sort of nudged Terrell and just sort of pointed out. And does that seem sort of slack to you?
I'm going to stare at the overweight, slovenly guards and say, yes, that's not good.
Yeah, you don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I mean, by your standards, it's like this is not good soldiering.
Where's Jomont now? Is he like in front, behind?
Yeah, he's like in your general vicinity on on horseback. I mean, it's up to you. He could be in front of you, but he's nearby.
All right, then I'm
Within.
just gonna make my way over to him and just say maybe you should have a word with the lords of this place to, smarten up their soldiers, make them a bit more on the ball because this is not good.
He makes note of what you're saying. He's like, I'm curious. Yes, I fully intend to. I've never been here before, and I'm interested to see how they're running the fort in Lord's Hill.
Seems to me that they are just a bit too overly confident, and that won't help them if anything does happen.
I'll take that under advisement. I'll be sure to be curious when I visit.
Okay. I wander back to Yelena and Kai.
Yelena, you also notice the flag of Secomber is more clear here, where the banners are hanging down on the battlements. It's like a basic blue, and there's a red tri-mount at the bottom of like 3 humps. There's a stylized figure of a gargoyle in black and gray, centered on the field of blue. Also, with a 23 as your perception roll, you notice as you kind of spot disapprovingly the guard who's reading their book by the gargoyles, that the gargoyle, the one with the cat sleeping on it, twitches. Then its stone jaw yawns broadly. And you hear this sleepy, gravelly sigh kind of float down from above. You think it came from this gargoyle. They aren't completely ornamental. But neither the cat nor the guard reading a book nearby seem to be bothered.
Do I know of living gargoyles like that? Or is that a new thing?
Make a history check. Woot!
Someone's getting all the rolls today. It's a good job.
I know.
Yeah, a 16 is good enough. You have heard, you're at least aware that Secomber is built on the ruins of older empires. And you have heard that from time to time, someone will come across, whether it's because of construction or because of hero types, the hero types that they actively try to attract to the town, go exploring and spelunking. They sometimes dislodge creatures, such as specifically gargoyles, from the ruins of old empires that the city is built upon. And you know that sometimes, I mean, when they're first discovered, a lot of times, they aren't all like buddy friends, these gargoyles that are disrupted. And so sometimes there's work actually corralling gargoyles and getting them under control. But these you get the sense that, hey, these seem to be domesticated gargoyles sitting on this rampart. But you know that there's a possibility that there could be non-friendly gargoyles.
Do I think that's why they're so slack? They've got gargoyles that can defend?
I mean, I think that's a fair assumption for you to be like, well, maybe they're just relying on these gargoyles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the excuse. The reason why they're pretty lazy is they're just like, the gargoyles will take care of anything.
Right. I can't remember the list that had the town scratched, the cult list. What was the marking for Secomber?
Secomber was crossed out.
Huh.
Like whatever they had plotted had already happened.
Done. Okay.
As was Ulavan.
Yeah.
Now, when you were in Ulavan, the main thing that you heard was that they had an attack from the living rocks, from the rocklings, and had to fight them off the day before you got there. and you know that there was a cultist presence there. So,
but we've got no clue about what could have happened here that's been crossed off the list, do we?
well, I mean, from what information you gathered in Ulavan, it could just be that they had an attack, that the cultists attacked with the rocks.
Okay, but we don't know for sure.
And damaged things. And that's your best guess based off of what you saw in Ulavan and what you learned.
Okay.
As you get close to the processing at the city gates, you notice that there is a middle-aged human woman sitting on a padded stool that is levitating as the focal point of the gate traffic.
The stool or the woman's levitating?
Her padded stool is levitating, and she's just sitting in it, floating around in the stool. Or this chair. I don't know. Does she need armrest? Does she need arm guards? Is she going to tip out of her stool? I don't know. Maybe she's an expert. Maybe she's a pro at this. I know that I would fall off the stool if I was sitting on a floating stool because I have 4 dexterity in real life.
I'm thinking if it flies like a witch's broom, that's kind of cool.
But yeah, it's kind of like floating around like a witch's broom, but it's a stool, and she's just perched on top of it.
I mean, it seems a much more comfortable option than a broom.
Really? Don't you think? It doesn't give you a wedgie or anything like that? There's a small floating lectern in front of her, topped with a huge record book. She holds a smooth scepter. It's finished with a dark metal, kind of like tungsten. It looks more like a weight bar than like a formal stylized scepter, like just this basic club that you could really whack somebody with, about 2 inches in diameter. It's only about 4 feet long, so it's not like a staff or a pike. But it's like a good whacking stick. And she extends it ceremoniously to block the path of the next candidate at the gates as she proceeds to interview them before allowing entry. Seated next to her on a similar small floating stool, this one very tiny in comparison, is a little ragdoll version of the woman. It's animated.
Is it Nadja?
No, it's not. This isn't like a pretty Nadja, what we do in the shadows level of homunculus vibes, okay?
Oh god.
It's not that quality, you know. It's not like a hot little doll telling everybody what to do. It's more like a Raggedy Ann doll. Its hair is yarn, but it is a mix of like light brown and gray yarn matching the woman's hair. And the doll's face is sewn cloth, but the eyes are like light blue buttons that match the woman's eyes. And both the doll and the woman are wearing these light blue leather jerkins. But the woman is wearing a black armband, like she's in mourning. The doll is sleeveless, and its arms and legs are just articulated macrame. It's like this little string golem floating on its little stool. Bizarre. And it has a quill, and it's writing everything down that is said between the woman and people as they enter the town in illusory script in the air. And the script magically translates. You see it float over into the woman's record book, kind of making a transcript of the interview and filling out forms automatically for her.
Well, that's cool.
And you see, like, the woman seems to be consulting these records periodically during interviews. Mostly she's just conversing with people coming and going. As you draw, like, you're the next ones in line, Lady Bellefonte and Lord Jomont kind of, like, turn to you, and they're like, okay, so we have to give an interview upon entry, it looks like. Do you want us to speak for the caravan, or do you want to talk to them individually? I think we have to give everybody names and what we're planning to do. They seem to be giving out some stuff if it's your first time in Secomber. This is what Lady Bellefonte says. I mean, if you guys want to get like free stuff, I'm totally gonna interview on my own because I mean anything.
Okay, so she didn't want us to go as a group. She wants us to.
Well, I mean, you could get stuff. I mean, I was just gonna do me. But like, if you don't want the stuff they give you, I'll totally take it.
What,
Lord
What
Jomont's.
stuff?
what is
He's
it, like toothbrush and toothpaste and shower gel, something?
well. I mean, I saw somebody got a bottle of wine.
No. Oh.
Kai's in.
Somebody else was just handed some paper vouchers for something. I don't know what, because I can't hear that well. I mean, they're a little bit too far away to hear, but I saw them look like coupons. And then somebody else got like a sack of something, like a pack,
Wow. Odd that they give
like
stuff to people going
like
into the town.
a goodie bag kind of thing. I don't know what it was in it, but it looked like, hey, free stuff they're giving out. Jomont's gonna do all of his people and a bunch of the people in the caravan who don't want to bother. But if you want to talk to them individually, otherwise I'll just do it for everyone. Yeah.
I mean, do they ever deny entrance?
You have not seen them deny anybody entrance. It might just be that they want to keep track of who's entering town and what their business is, and monitoring how long that they're in town.
Okay. That is a good question. How long are we in town?
Well,
so we get our story straight.
Lord Jomont is like, well, if we wait around for the rest of my men, it'll be, what, five days. But I don't think. And Lady Belfana cuts in, yeah, we're not going to do that. I think, okay, it's almost evening, so I don't think we're going to get anything done today, maybe. So at least all day tomorrow, and then tomorrow night probably, because I don't know how long tomorrow's going to take. But I'd kind of like to leave the next day.
All right, so
But
2 nights we're expecting.
I don't know how long my business is going to take, so maybe 3 nights max. But not 5. And she looks over at Jomont. Not 5. That's ridiculous.
Too much.
I mean, it would have to be like something really like emergency crisis, okay? You can tell from like her whole thing. She doesn't want to pay for 5 days of ends of this town. For housing the cattle and all that.
Now I feel bad for asking for that pay.
She's like, when you could be traveling on the road and getting closer to your destination, she doesn't want to be like loitering around in this village indefinitely. Or not this village, but this town indefinitely. Even if it's a good town, if it's a cool town, even if they have magical floating people and they have purple cats, she's like. You also get the impression that she's really only concerned with her business. Like, she will stay however long it takes her to find out what she wants to find out. And I probably should have made you do an insight check for that. But she's talked about it enough, though, that she's just really interested in seeing what she can find out about the sewer system, about their sanitation system, because this is one of the few places for hundreds of miles that has one that she knows of, and she wants to find out how it works and get tips. Have Badger Sweeney, the mason, find out what he can find out to help build stuff in Parnast. So that's her goal, and once she finishes with that, she's going to start chomping at the bit. That's the impression you've gotten from talking to her on the trip so far.
Okay. And do we think it's going to be a problem if we do like enter separate? Well, we're not going to be entering separately. We're just going to be interviewed separately. But if we can still say that we're there as her guard, can't we?
Yeah, and I mean, it's like you don't really know what the person's going to ask at this point. You just know that they're asking questions, at least like name and that kind of stuff.
All right. Well, Tedell's just going to do the separate thing then, because if they get 3 stuff and it's useful to Belafana, then she's happy enough to pass it on. So that's all right with you guys. I don't see it's been a problem. Might as well see if there's anything useful in the 3 stuff.
Okay, so you do want to like individually like talk to them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see, Jomont gets up there and he's like talking. He does a whole little interview, and he has like all of his the one scout, Sergeant Palty, Harton, if that's actually really still his name, and a couple of the guards, the other guards that are left that weren't the ones sent on to Womford, if I'm remembering correctly where they were sent. Oh, it's so complicated now. Once he's done, pretty much everybody except for Belafana and the three of you go in the gate. And he says before he leaves, and really he's saying this to Belafania, but you overhear him. He's like, the stable is on the first hill, like right before the first hill, just inside the gate, to the right, is what they told me. I'll take the livestock there, see if we can find a place for them for the night, and meet you there before everyone goes their separate ways.
Okay, fair enough.
So the livestock and most of the caravan, they're through the gate. Lord Jomont did get a bottle of wine.
Of course he did.
He hands it off to Lady Belafana. She's not super impressed by the quality of the wine, but she still takes it. She's like, I mean, this is your basic house red kind of thing. I mean, if you're thirsty, you can drink it. And she's like, what did you tell them? And he's like, I told them I was here for entertainment purposes. It's like, okay, check. Entertainment purposes, crappy wine, check. Okay. So she goes up and she's talking to the woman with the scepter. And you can overhear the woman introduce herself as Melee Parchun, the fifth rod of justice.
Wow, that's scary.
She sounds very friendly otherwise.
All right then.
Is that how you doing? Basically, she asks, you start to hear the questions. And the things that she asks Lady Belafana are things like, is she a citizen of Secomber or a visitor? Because she's a visitor, she was asked the nature of her visit, adventure, business, or entertainment. Belafana says business. She's asked whether it's her first time visiting. And Belafana says no. And she's given an explorer's, no wait, she's not. She's given a validation token at the stables for 2 free nights for a wagon and 2 horses. And Belafana seems pretty pumped by this because it's free money.
Mm.
Yeah, free money. She's got stuff. She's staying at the stables, and she's like, thumbs up for that one. Vouchers, those are good. She's asked where she's going to be staying during her visit, and Lady Belafana is like, I haven't decided yet. And at this point, the woman recommends the name of an inn, something like Singing Sprite Inn is what you hear. There's also some mention that there are boarding houses and lodgings for stays that are more like, more than a couple nights as a longer short-term option. And then finally, the woman asks if she has any questions regarding amenities or directions for her visit. At this point, Lady Belafana inquires where she can find out more about Secomber's sewer system. Point me in the right direction. I'm here to research your sewer system, find out how its construction, any blueprints, that kind of thing. The woman, she's kind of caught off guard. She says, sewer system? Well, if you're looking for bounty work in the sewer system, you should check out the job board at the Magistrate Building on First Hill, or speak with Fourth Rod, Bag and Foxtrot, at the same location. And Belafana's like, no. To reiterate, I'm more interested in sanitation operations, maybe blueprints. Yeah, blueprints is what I'm looking for of the sewer layout. Like how they were built, how it works, best practices. And the fifth rod, Melee Partoon, she raises an eyebrow and says, "Well, in that case, you'll want to speak to the first rod, Daryl Logan. He's in charge of the town's trash. He's been in the municipal offices quite a bit of late. We've had a few unfortunate adaptations needed in administrative procedures recently. You can always make an appointment. Otherwise, you might track him down at one of his businesses. He runs the Steam and Stone Bathhouse and the Cat and Cucumber social club." And you see Belafana, she's like pulls out a little notepad and she starts making notes of this. Like, okay, Daryl Logan. Okay, first rod, magistrate offices, make appointment, ? Steam and Stone, Cat and Cucumber, check. And then she's in the gate. She waves bye to you guys. See you at the stables. And again, she like holds up her little voucher, thumbs up. And now the three of you are at the gate. And this woman is floating in front of you. "Greetings. Welcome to Secomber."
Who wants to go first? Or are we like... Is she talking to all three of us? Or...
Well, are you processing individually or are you processing as a group?
Individually.
All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Kai. Kai steps forward.
Howdy. Are you a citizen of Secomber or a visitor?
A visitor.
Wonderful. What's the nature of your visit? Adventure, business, or entertainment?
Entertainment.
Entertainment? Oh boy. Here's a bottle of wine. Have fun in
Lovely.
Secomber.
Fine.
You get your cheap bottle of wine. I'm not sure I actually make cheap bottles of wine as items. I don't know, but let me make a note of it.
Kai will enjoy that.
I did ask you if it's your first time visiting it, didn't I? I think I did.
No, but it is my first time visiting.
Well, that's why you got a bottle of wine. It's been a day. So many people coming into town. Wow. I should pay more attention. This is kind of my job. Stringy, can you like edit that? Yeah, and you see like the little string golem is like, scratching out some stuff, ameliorating things about was actually asked that first time visit was asked out of order but corrected. So, do you know where you're going to be staying during your time in Secomber?
No, I don't think so.
Do you
we
want
know?
to
Don't
know
know.
places to stay during your time in Secomber?
Yes, we do.
All right. The Singing Sprite Inn is quite popular. We do not encourage sleeping in alleyways or on the streets. The militia will round you up if you try doing that. We keep a clean street.
You just hear Tyrell snorting at that in the background.
There's also the Gross Boarding House. If you're staying more than a few days, that's a good option. If you want to sign on for a job, like perhaps if you're interested in militia work, she looks you over. Well, maybe that's not really an option for you. Never mind, I didn't say anything. She hands you a couple pamphlets that talk about inns with the Singing Sprite at the top of them, and there's a couple other miscellaneous inns and boarding houses in town. But she gives you a pamphlet for places to stay.
Thanks.
Do you have any additional questions for me regarding amenities or distractions during your visit to Secomber since you're here for entertainment?
No, I don't think so. I think I'll just wander around and find something.
An Ambler, are we?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Okay, well, don't pet the gargoyles.
No, I certainly won't. I'll be going looking
right.
for that purple cat, though, that I saw earlier.
Oh, yeah, there's so many wonderful cats here. They were a blessing from Emilia Romanitas. Yes. R.I.P. Well, you're in. You're free to enter.
Thanks.
All
I
right.
just wander in and just hover
She
around.
pulls back.
waiting
She
for-
pulls back the rod that she kind of had like ceremoniously blocking your path through the gate, and just kind of like pulls it back and like, yeah, you're in. It's kind of like a turnstile, but it's manually operated. All right, who's next?
Yelena will go next.
Howdy. Are you a
Hello.
citizen of Secomber or a visitor?
Visitor.
Wow, so many visitors today. What's the nature of your visit? Adventure, business, or entertainment?
I think I would say adventure, as that encompasses both business and entertainment.
Well, how philosophical of you. Is this your first time visit?
Yes.
Okay. Here, have an explorer's kit. Don't die.
Nice. Thank you.
So I've dragged an explorer's pack into your inventory.
Thank you.
This is me looking for wine. Yeah, this wine is cheap enough to not have a price tag on it, so that's what I'll give Kai.
I say you don't have to put it in his inventory because you know he probably started swigging it straight away. Really.
Well, it's already there. You can delete it from your inventory. And then she asks Yelena, do you know where you will be staying during your visit?
What was the name of the inn you suggested again?
The Singing Sprite Inn.
I'll be looking around, but probably there.
All right, do you need directions?
I'm sure.
Have a pamphlet. She gives you a pamphlet with
That,
directions.
that will work.
Like a little mini map. Pictures of rooms. There's like a little drawing of a sprite, like literally a sprite in like action, like they are striking a pose and singing on the cover of this pamphlet. Do you have any questions regarding amenities or directions for your visit to Secomber?
Yelena is thinking about asking about the guards kind of slacking off and what security is like, but decides that that's probably going to look suspicious, so she will just say no.
This is time when the DM says, do you have any business that you're actually doing in Secomber that maybe might want to know more about, like to be able to do the business you have in Secomber?
Just accompanying Lady Bellafana.
I mean, this is the DM asking, not the actual lady.
Oh, okay, no. Were we picking up the statue? Were we supposed to be picking up a statue?
Yeah, you have your
Okay,
whole
yeah,
thing.
so we got to get the statue.
Can you remember where it was?
I think, Yelena, you have the note about that.
Yeah, do I have it in my inventory?
I think so. I think it was the one from
I'm scrolling back.
From the snow beetle.
I wonder if I search for squirrel, I'll find it.
Letter from Squirrel.
Letter from Squirrel. My niece busy be wrangling Roosh Fair. Blah, 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 blah. I request you and Stilthorn travel to Secomber to pick up a statue of Angarad we have commissioned from Elkhorn Emporium. You will be expected. It is paid in full. Deliver the statue to the priestess of Maliki Chandra Stall at the Shrine of Axis in Parnast. With our gracious blessings. A reply is not required, but you may send any response back with Tony below. Tony was the squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we need to know where that is.
Elkhorn Emporium.
Elkhorn. Okay, so I do ask the lady. Actually, where is Elkhorn Emporium?
Elkhorn Emporium. You'll want to head towards the second hill. But if you get to the fort, you've gone too far. If you get to the Mason Guild Hall, you've gone too far. It's beside actually the seven-stringed. Oh gosh, the name of it. It's a tavern next door. Yes, seven-stringed harp. Yes, the owners, they used to be married. They're no longer married.
Oh.
It's a thing. Lots of drama. Yes, that's where the Elkhorn is. Across the street from it is the alchemist shop that used to belong to the late Mr. Amanitas. Yes, R.I.P. So it should be fairly easy to pick out. There are elk horns actually over the door of the Emporium. However, wait, did you say you were here for adventure? You're not here for business, are you?
Well, adventure encompasses
Oh, that's right,
both
philosophy.
business and yes, exactly, business and entertainment.
I am afraid that if you're here for business at the Elkhorn Emporium, this may not be the best time.
Oh dear, why is that?
Well, he's on holiday.
Hmm.
Yes, after the funeral, he decided to, well, he had visitation with the children, and he decided to go on holiday. I think he went up north to Side Lake Spa.
Well, that's odd.
So it's I'm not sure it's actually open and operational.
Hmm.
But I'm sure. Welcome to Secomber. You can figure it out once. Maybe Jacques knows something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You'll
Well,
find it. She gives you a pamphlet. There's another
yeah.
mini map for where Elkhorn Emporium is.
I'm just like, we'll figure it out. We'll play it by
Shops
ear.
and sundries.
It's adventure.
Adventure,
Right.
business, and entertainment wrapped into one.
Exactly.
I hear you. Have a good time, don't die.
Thank you.
And finally, Terrell.
Step forward. Good afternoon.
Howdy, are you a citizen of Secomber or a visitor?
I am a visitor.
What is the nature of your visit? Adventure, business, or entertainment?
Business.
Business? Is this your first visit?
It is, as far as I'm aware, yes.
Well, here, have this validation token for the stables for 2 free nights for a wagon and 2 horses.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. You're so polite. Do you know where you'll be staying during the visit?
No, but I have heard you mentioning that tavern, and I suspect I shall wander along to the same place, unless it's full because you've recommended it to everyone.
Well, this is true, and it has been very busy at the gate today for visitors.
Mm,
But here, have a pamphlet. There's a list of other places in case the Singing Sprite doesn't work out.
that's great.
Do you have any questions regarding amenities or directions for your visit to Secomber?
Yes, I would like to know if you've got any good armories.
There are armories. I think good is a matter of subjection.
This is true. I just wondered if you had a personal opinion. Obviously, you speak to a lot of people. You've probably heard a lot of recommendations. Is there anything that pops out as being well liked?
Yes, she says, while furiously flipping through her town notes of shop. You're specifically looking for like a smithy?
Yes, and I pat Sprinkles on the back and say I would like to see if there are any improvements I can make to my companion's armor.
Owlbear is wearing armor. Oh, wait, you have an owlbear. Is this an emotional support beast?
Yes.
Yes.
What is its name?
She's called Sprinkles.
Can she interview for herself or does she need assistance?
She would need assistance.
All right. Do you want to just answer questions for her or would you like to
I can't speak with animals. And then pretty much answer for her unless she's, yeah.
I will say in regards to your question about shops, there is a tailor, but I feel the feeling that what you want, the loose threads tailor might be a little bit too non-combative for your needs.
This is
But
true.
There
But
is
I know a friend who
also-
might like it.
It's the tailor, yes. There is a blacksmith, Sharon and Sons. Is
Okay.
probably the most recommended of the smiths in town. They do have a few. I'm not sure if you're looking for something extremely magical. I'm not sure they can help you. They do some fine work. I just said do. They do fine work. Meeting most needs. But if you're looking for something extremely extravagant, you might need to coordinate between her offerings, Sharon and Sons, what they can do there, and maybe the alchemist shop. But usually for commissions of the most magical varieties, back in the day, it used to be kind of a co-project between Emilio or Amanitas and the Smiths. or just Emilio himself, but, well, he has passed away. R.I.P. But
Okay.
she gives you a brochure, though, of shops and stuff. Good luck!
Thank you. Hey,
Now, for your owlbear.
yes.
Hello. Welcome to Secomber, she asks.
I just look at Sprinkles and say, this nice lady needs to know why we are visiting the city. So I'm going to answer on your behalf, unless you have anything different to say. Okay? And I will obviously tell Sprinkles the questions.
She says, "No, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty sure that you are not a citizen of Secomber. Is this correct?"
I answer on Sprinkles' behalf. Yes, she is a visitor.
Sprinkles is like, "What's a citizen?"
She wants to know if you actually live here, but I don't think you do you? You've never been here before.
No.
Okay.
Did you see the purple cat?
No, but I heard Yelena mention it. I'll have to look out for it.
You think I can jump up there and get it?
You probably shouldn't. You might either scare the cat.
She tries fluttering her wings. Like, I don't know, maybe I could get like some butt lift. I want to try to sit in there. It's purple.
Let's see if we can find it without, scaring it.
What is the nature of your visit? Adventure, business, or entertainment?
Oh, I'll look at Sprinkles. And then ask her the question and say,
I'm here to eat goblin faces, orc faces, bacon faces.
I'll look at the woman. She's here for entertainment.
It is her first time visit, yes. It's your first time visit?
It is.
It's my first time! She pulls out a bottle of cheap wine and she holds it out kind of like awkwardly, like, I'm not sure this is working.
Well, I could take it, but I would prefer that she doesn't drink it, to be quite honest. I'm not sure wine would agree with her stomach.
You seem like a wise person. Do you want?
Also, I don't want my emotional support beast to be drunk.
Well, that's good. That's a good point as well. Do you want the wine? I can just keep it.
Please keep it. Give it to someone else.
All right. She puts it back into the case. Do you know where you will be staying during your visit?
She'll be staying with me.
For emotional support feast, she must be present to give you support emotionally. Okay.
Indeed.
And do you have any questions regarding amenities or directions for your visit to Secomber?
I asked Sprinkles if there's anything she wants while she's in town.
Sprinkles, where are the orcs? I want to know where the orcs are. Or the goblins.
She'd like to know if you've got like any sort of entertaining type wrestling match things that she could potentially join in, or training facilities, something along those lines.
Training. Oh, well, training. Most people go to Lord's Hill for training with the soldiers there. And every once in a while there might be a bit of an event. Maybe a race, that we do frown on unsanctioned racing, informal racing.
Of course.
Every once in a while there are games and combats that are sponsored by Lord's Hill, but I don't know of any currently that are planned.
Okay then.
But yes, if you are interested in some formal combat training or place to exercise, the grounds at Lord's Hill Fort is probably your best bet. Oh,
okay then.
As Albert also, she might enjoy the river. There's fishing.
Oh, I mentioned this to Sprinkles. Do you like fishing? Do you like fish?
Do I like fish? Can I eat them?
Yes.
Then I like fish. We should fish.
Can you swim?
I don't know. Can I?
We'll find out. And if you can't, we'll teach you.
Oh boy. Okay.
But we must take the armour off first.
Okay.
I look back at the lady. Yes, she's quite interested in the fishing actually. So that's a lovely recommendation. Thank you.
Great. You just head out through the east gate. You'll reach the riverside.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, it's a very small inward gate in a gable. I mean, you don't have to leave the town to get to the river. Yes. Welcome to Secomber.
Thank you for your time.
Yes. And she's on to the next person.
I wonder if I have to cane you, Lena. That was weird.
surprised she didn't ask what her favorite color was.
Mm.
You are now inside Secomber proper. Now this talk of hills, once you're inside the gates, it becomes pretty clear, all these references to hills, that there are 3 hills that make up a large portion of especially the western part of this town. The first hill is dominated by a large, fairly ornate building, and you see 2 very tall humanoid statues that are easily 20 feet tall standing in front of a tall flight of red granite stairs at the first hill. There are flagpoles on either side of these stairs, and each bears the flag of Secomber. But those flags, they're flying at half-mast, and there's like a little black flag floating below it. The second hill appears to be bounded by a moat, and beyond the moat there is another high wall, and its drawbridge is lowered. And you can kind of make out the turrets of a fort that can be seen just peeking over this wall. The third hill, from this distance, seems to have been left undeveloped. Though, Galena, with your keen vision, your passive perception, you can just barely make out a path winding up and around the hill, and maybe a puff of smoke coming from over the rise. Everybody make a perception check.
Ooh. Eh. No, saved by Yelena again.
You just make out that the roads, shops, and homes of Secomber have been built around these 3 hills. Most of the roofs are tiled. Most of the buildings sport steeply pitched roofs with multiple gables. Some have brick elevations, some are stucco with decorative timbering. There are large leaded glass windows with flower boxes and brightly painted doors, so it's more the fairy tale style. Kind of in the distance, if you look to your west, you can pick out Lady Belafana headed to the west, and you assume this is the direction to the stables that Jomont mentioned everyone would meet up at before going their separate ways.
I guess follow her? Might as well drop all this stuff off at wherever we're staying.
You notice there are more cats ambling down sidewalks and sitting in doorways.
Are they all purple?
They are not all purple. Traffic does give them the right of way for the most part, and some of them look like normal tabbies and calicos. There are a few black, white, and gray numbers, but there are other unusually colored cats. Not just purple, but like pink, blue, chartreuse. Here and there, somebody will point and exclaim in amazement at the cat, but you wonder if they're just like tourists. Because by and large, people just take the multicolored cats in their stride.
Okay.
You start to pick up like the smell of a large amount of livestock. After about 5 minutes, there's a simple like wooden fences and a prominent sign over an entryway into one paddock, and you can pick out like in the distance that, and you can kind of make out members of your party and like Terry and Noodles and stuff with their livestock. And the place has a sign that proclaims it as stock and feed stables. And there are some halflings there that are talking with people in the caravan. And you see Lady Belafana catch up, and she starts talking to like this halfling, and she's handing over like the coupon vouchers that she got at the gate. Lord Jomont walks up, and there seems to be more talking. And just another minute or so walk, and you're drawing up to the group as well. What do you want to do?
Terrell's going to go up to Lady Belafana and give her the voucher.
Oh, great! Oh, this is great. Only like Lord Jomont, he like put some money down for the stable.
Of course he did.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I mean, because well, I don't know how long we're going to stay, and it kind of does make up for if we had to stay. Not that I don't want to get on the road as soon as possible, but if he's paying for it, it's not so bad. But yeah, I'm not going to tell him that. I mean, I'm going to make it seem like an imposition, right? Okay. She goes back to like haggling with the halfling. And Lord Jomont is standing off the side, like with his men, just kind of like waiting. There's a few more minutes, and everything seems to be settled, and you see like Terry and Noodles and a couple of the guards help out the people at the stables, sorting out where the livestock go, and there are these very, very large holding pens, and they kind of get separated up, and the wagons and get parked as well. They'll take your horses if you hand them over. But you could possibly take them on to the inn as well. But everyone except for like Lord Jomont and his sergeant seems to be stocking, putting all of their livestock up here.
Okay.
Like Lady Belafona plans to walk. So do you want to check in your horses?
I mean, do we think we'll need the horses to get around the town easier, from the inn, or is it going to be as easy to walk? I suppose is the question.
You get the impression that you could walk from one end to the other of the town in less than an hour if you went from like one side to the other.
If we took our horses to the inn, would we have to pay extra to have them boarded?
Yeah, you probably would have to pay for them to be boarded at the inn. Whereas if you leave them here, it seems that like Jomont's covering it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to leave my horse here.
Okay.
And if you find that if you change your mind, you can always like just take your horse out for the day or something. If you need it for something.
Yeah. Yeah, I shall park mine and yeah.
So you each get like a little parking ticket for your horse. So that if you need to pick up your horse at any time during your stay at Secomber, you can come and get it.
Cool.
And then finally, everyone just kind of gathers around in a circle once like the livestock is taken care of and everybody's gotten their little vouchers. And it's just kind of like a everybody touching base that like, okay, we're going to be here for at least 2 nights. We're all headed toward the Singing Sprite Inn. Are we all headed for the Singing Sprite Inn? Everybody's heading for the Singing Sprite Inn except for Lord Jomont and his men. So he says that he will call in the Singing Sprite Inn 2 mornings hence.
Okay.
To see if it is time to leave. And if circumstances change, simply drop him a letter at Lord's Hill. He's also like, if you need something at the fort, that's where I will be. And he gives a look to you, Terrell. It's like assessing the situation.
Nod at him.
And he bids the group farewell. Gets on his horse, so Sergeant Pulte and the men, and they head out of the stable. And Lady Befal's like, okay, he's gone. Let's get the show on the road. Does anyone have the map? I totally like misplaced my map. Where is the Singing Sprite Inn? She's like, let's walk there. Let's walk there. I'm ready to go. Is that where you guys are staying, or are you like going to try out that gross boarding house place?
I think we should try the inn first.
Yeah, same.
The gross boarding house sounds a bit gross.
Gross.
Well, One thing that you did notice, actually, do a perception check.
Giving me the ones that I've got a -1 on. Ooh.
Kai's opened his eyes.
What did Terrell roll? Did you roll a 16? Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, all of you notice that once you caught up with like Lord Jomont, now that you're in town, he's sneezing a lot. He's gotten the sniffles, and has been sneezing. And you see him throw a couple dirty looks at the cats that like are meandering around the stable yard. He's allergic. He's totally allergic. So he's kind of allergic to Secomber because cats appear to be a thing.
Okay.
So you head out towards the Singing Sprite. It's located closer to the part of town that is at the second hill. There's some roadways. They're all cobbled roads, also covered with that strange kind of tarry, dark substance that seems to be water repellent. As you're walking down the roadway, Lady Belfana continuously like points out like sewer grates and things like that, and she's having open conversations with Badger Sweeney about like how do you think that works. And at one point they're both running up to one of these sewer grates and kind of like poking their heads in, trying to like look and see what's beyond, like what's going on there. And she like points out and notices that there are like periodic manhole covers that are sewer access. And they're like having this whole conversation about like how this might be, the architecture might work and how it's put together. As you continue down the road, all at once, there are some shouts in the traffic, and there's a rumbling of wheels. You see a gilded phaeton speeding haphazardly down the street, and there are people leaping out of the vehicle's path, except for a single cat grooming in the roadway that is maybe deaf and doesn't seem to notice the approach of the phaeton. It's barreling straight for where you guys are by the roadway, as it seems to kind of be winding. Rapid onslaught. So what do you do?
I'm gonna run to save the cat.
Okay. Terrell, do an athletics check
Okay.
to save the cat.
Oh, it's a good job I've got a +7 on that.
18. You swoop the cat up in your arms. Now everybody make a dexterity saving throw. Okay. So Yelena and Terrell, and I haven't roll for Belafon. I'm only taking the first one of that. She rolled a natural 20. I double clicked. So everybody except for Kai effortlessly leaps out of the way of this oncoming vehicle. Except for Kai.
Except for Kai.
All about the mental agility.
Kai gets hit by a vehicle.
Great.
Ouch.
Kai takes 4 damage and gets knocked prone. Booped over the side to the curb. The Phantom just keeps rolling. And in fact, there's like this really kind of like tall, gangly, skinny guy. Looks to be wearing kind of like a powdered wig at the reins of this vehicle. And as he like bumps you with his cart, it slows it down like for a split second, and he shouts at you like, "Mind where you stand, get out of the way!" And he keeps going.
So rude.
Do a perception check. Anyone who is there and present.
Yell after him.
Oi!
Woo! 2 20s.
Too busy with the cat.
McGeezer. All right. So both Kai and Yelena. Other 20 was me. Kai and Yelena both noticed a Lord's Alliance of symbol on the clothing that the driver is wearing that ran Kai down.
Rude.
Starting to think these aren't nice people.
No, that.
I would
I'm
eat
just-
2 moonshine cherries, except for I have a thing later on, and I think I would rather not. Since I would like to get to it.
Yeah, do you need to drive to the thing later on?
Yeah, that's why I'm not gonna moonshine
I
cherry.
wouldn't. No, don't have a moonshine cherry.
So yeah, no moonshine cherries today. Maybe I'll just write down I owe 2 moonshine cherries for next session. So you reach the Singing Sprite Inn. It is again like a bustling inn. It is not as nice as Where the Maiden Dances. It is not like that plush. It's pretty simple. I'm sharing a map. Not that you really need it. Not that you really need it. We're not, but it's just like a simple. There's kind of like it's a 2-story. The main room has a central fire and a collection of tables. That's where most of the drinking is taking place. And you do see that there is a pixie-like figure floating around the bar, interacting with customers. And it's kind of built atrium style. So like the second floor up, you see some traffic of like customers coming and going and then coming down the stairs. So you get the impression that there are some rooms that are upstairs. And that the people coming down are guests. But there's a collection of tables and people just like drinking. There's nobody playing music at this time. It's a little bit early in the day. But there you do see a Sprite flying around. There's also like a lady behind the bar. And at the end of the bar, on one side, there is a very large orc, very muscular. He has like my brain has gone flat. Like a tablet in his hands, like a pad of paper, and he seems to be writing on it with a pencil. Now, Sprinkle sees this orc, and she gets very excited, and she starts romping towards him.
I'm gonna run after her and grab her.
And she's kind of like snarling, and the orc looks up, and he's like, oh, hey, ho there, whoa.
My speak with animals will have gone off. What?
Yeah, probably by now. I think what does it last? 10 minutes, or does it last longer?
I think it's 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes. I mean, can I cast it again? Does it matter?
It does. You could cast again. I think you have more than one use of it.
Yeah. It's just a level 1 spell.
She's like growling at the orc.
I suppose I should mark off the fact.
He's just like holding up his hands, and he's like got a pencil in one hand, his little pad in the other, and he's like, "Oh, hey."
Alright, so I'll cast Speak with Animals again and just say, look, Sprinkles, not all orcs are bad guys.
Let me at him!
No, you can't. You can't.
Eat his face!
No, you can't. It looks like he might
like
work here.
He's got a baby spear in his hand. He's probably going to stab you in a second with the baby spear.
It's a pencil.
What's a pencil?
It's what people use to write things down with. Do you know what writing is?
No.
Okay, it's a way for us to pass on information without speaking to someone.
Well, I don't know how to do that, and are you sure he's not going to write you to death? 'Cause
No. He's not. I'm just going to look up and say, she's not had very good experiences with some orcs recently, so she's a bit confused.
Oh. Well, I haven't had that many great experiences with orcs myself, actually. So
I will pass that on to Sprinkles.
I empathize, but I would ask her to just kind of keep the growling down to like maybe a scoosh. Don't want to alarm the other customers, you know.
No, I agree. And I'll just turn back to Sprinkles and say, look, this nice orc says that he's also had some bad experiences with orcs. So it's not just you. But this gentleman seems very nice. So, and he's very polite. but he's worried that you're going to scare the other guests in the inn.
Okay. But I got my eye on him. You tell him I got my eyes on him.
Okay, I won't tell him that.
If he does anything bad, I'll get him. Bite his face.
All right, but you can't bite him unless he does anything bad.
Okay.
And I'd really prefer it if you asked me first, just in case you got it wrong. Not that you would, but you know.
Okay. You see, she kind of deflates a little because, like, originally, just that, like, unless he does something bad, she was already, like, matriculating how, like, yeah, if I do anything bad, I'm gonna get him. But now that you've, like, I'd rather you check with me first, it's kind of being like, oh, man.
Wow,
nuts.
okay.
Wow.
So I'll tell you what, Sprinkles, let's get you settled somewhere in some food, and then, you know, you don't have to worry about the orc.
Yeah, I might be a little hangry. That bacon was a long time ago, and all of the cheese and the fruits and whatever.
Yeah, I can understand that, and I'll look back up at the orc and say, "Do you work here? Is this your establishment?"
Oh, I'm security. He closes up his pad of paper and sets the pencil down. But I could probably help you. Yes. Yes, this is an establishment. Sheila, and you see there's the lady behind the bar. He points out she can get you drinks and food.
Well, we're interested in rooms. I'll look at the other guys, just to sort of confirm.
Oh, well, okay, maybe boss. I'm not okay. Well, I could get you rooms. Yes, I could get you rooms. I think we have rooms. Let's see. And he looks down behind the bar and he pulls out another book and he kind of adjusts. He's wearing glasses, you notice now, and he just kind of adjusts the spectacles on his nose, and he runs a large finger down the book. He's like, "We do have some rooms available. How many rooms are needed?"
Do we want 4? I mean, Lady Belafona, I'm assuming, will want her own.
And there's a couple other people there too. And she's like, I'm counting right now. So there's the 3 of you. Belafona asked for 8 rooms total. 3 for you, 1 for her. Making Badger and Ragnar share a room. And Charmandy and Daisy have their own room. And Noodles and Terry are sharing a room. I think that's 8 total. I think that's everybody. Brenton, he went off with the soldiers to Lord's Hill with Lord Shieldbar. Lord Shieldbar. That is his name.
Right.
And he's like, there's another little sign for drinks, but it's very simple stuff. It's Zorp and chips and shepherd's pie, and they have butter pie here as well. Just cheese sandwich and broccoli soup, that kind of stuff. The fanciest thing they've got on for food is a crayfish cocktail. And it has just some standard drink options of ales. There's some mead for Mooshfair on tap here. But the rooms, they cost 3 gold a night.
Okay.
So you see, Lady Belafona is kind of okay, 3 gold. So that's 24 gold a night. Oh boy. Okay. And so she hands the guy how many
she's
five platinum pieces.
She's not paying for us, is she?
She does start paying for you initially.
Then I'm gonna say I'll pay for my own. Don't worry about that.
Okay, so that's 7 rooms. So she's doing the math all over again. Okay, I'm paying you for 2 nights. She pays for 2 nights for whoever doesn't shell out money. And if you're going to pay for your own room,
did they have
6 gold?
Did they have stables somewhere I can put Sprinkles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sprinkles can stay in the stable. If you say that Sprinkles is an emotional support beast, they're like fine with her staying in a room with you.
Oh, all right then. Okay, then I'll do that. Do I pay extra for her staying in my room, or?
No, just extra for food.
Okay, then I'll knock 6 off mine.
But like your horses, you would left in the other place, so you don't have any additional costs unless you just
Okay.
get food or drink.
Oh, I'm paying for my own room. Kai. Is
Okay.
6 gold, yeah?
6 gold for 2 nights. So you checked in. It's evening time. You're checked into this inn for the next 2 nights. As we kind of like come to a close until January. Finally in Secomber. Finally in Secomber.
When did we
give you
start
an idea.
this campaign?
We started
The 28th of
April?
August.
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 Mhm.
Was it August?
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
this is this one. We did the bees one before.
Last summer.
Hmm.
I was thinking we started in April or something.
Oh, sorry. No, this is I've carried this on from the bees one.
It has to.
This is
because
August
the
last year.
ninth.
Yeah.
This is
yeah,
the 9th session.
Yeah, I've
Wow.
got all the.
Okie doke. Yeah, sorry. Carry on.
And it's been like maybe 6 days in game time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21st of May.
Yeah, it took
Yeah.
us like, I don't know, 3 months to get through like 2 hours of.
Yeah. To get through.
Traveling.
Yeah.
It took you like the whole session to do like an hour of game time last
Yeah.
session. So but you traveled a whole day in this session and you've gotten checked in. But like what are your next thoughts? Like what are you gonna do? It's about say the equivalent of 5 p.m. The sun's getting ready to go down.
Dinner and a show, I think.
Entertainment.
I mean, Terrell's interested in looking at some gear, obviously for Sprinkles, but I expect businesses to be starting to close now, so dinner sounds good. And then whatever these guys are doing, I'll probably just tag along.
Yeah.
And
Kai
like on the
thinks-
morrow, what is your intended business? Check out the smith.
Yes, I'd like to see if there's any way I can make some improvements to Sprinkles' armor.
we need to do the statue thing.
The statue.
statue
figure
thing,
Out,
yeah.
figure out what's
Go
going on
check
there.
out the Elkhorn.
I mean, that's the main thing, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm sort of suspicious of whatever death has happened.
Yeah. Because the fact that flag's at half-mast on the Lord's Hill, that seems like, what's going on?
You have already heard rumors that the renowned wizard Amelior Amanitas
Oh, is that... Right,
has
okay.
passed away. And you also know that this is one of the people that Belafana had lined up as being a potential customer for the wyvern egg, or the wyvern eggs that she has. But she didn't go with that option. One, because Sean the Hermit was going to be at Honeyfest. And so it was a quicker journey to try to sell it there. And he was offering a little bit more money. Of course, that didn't work out so well. And then, so Amelia Romanitas was going to be her backup option. But you suggested writing to the Emerald Enclave.
Yes, we did.
So she hasn't pursued that.
But why would this place close and that guy go visit his kids? Because the wizard has died, unless he's attached to the wizard in some way. Actually, who are we supposed to be picking it up from again?
The Elkhorn Emporium.
Emporium.
Was there a name though of who we're supposed to speak
No,
to?
You
just
don't have
the
any name.
no name.
Right.
Well, maybe somebody's running.
Just the business name.
Okay. Maybe we spend the evening just, listening and trying to find out what's going on.
Trying to find out what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we pick up next time, we will be like a dinner and entertainment, hobnobbing with the locals, trying to find out like general like gossip about what's going on. What's going on? And then on the morrow, you'll be checking out the smith and seeing if you can get that statue.
Okay.
Alrighty. I feel like I was in super disarray today, and I'm sorry about that. I was like kind of just at 6s and 7s. It's like sometimes you like have a day where you're like, I'm just not actually present today.
Pretty much most days. To be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. Time of year too.
Like
Yes.
losing all of the threads today, just dropping them left, right, and center.
It's December. December
Yeah.
doesn't work.
December is hard, but like I'm glad that we played today and that we actually got to Secomber finally, so that you could potentially get yourselves into all kinds of trouble or adventures or entertainment or business or. I know, that's
we
so
got
stupid.
there.
That's so stupid. And next time we play, the 3rd weekend, which will be like 5 weeks from now.
Oh wow.
I'm assuming we'll want to stick to the 3rd weekend of the month.
That'd be the 21st.
The 21st.
Yeah, 21st of Jan.
Well, I don't have anything currently booked in, so.
All right. So we'll plan on the 21st. Roses and Thorns. I feel like I did not have stuff for you to do today, and I also felt disorganized.
Sorry, I'm jumping in there. Shouldn't have done.
No, I mean say stuff.
I feel like you did all the heavy lifting in today's session.
I know. There was a lot. You had a lot of dialogue with yourself.
Yeah, you're basically carrying a lot of the story.
I'm feeling bad about that because I feel like I did not plan enough things for you to interact with per se. I was like telling you too much stuff.
No, well, all right. So
sense?
maybe there was some of the stuff, like you say, we should have done insight rolls for and stuff like that. But I think it's more the nature of just getting us to Secomber and stuff. It's not the sort of thing that it's setting it up into you're basically setting up the information. So
the boring part of
hopefully.
Travel, you're right. Like it is kind of like the segue of getting there, and that's why a lot of times doing travel stuff is boring. Because because last time we had events happening as you were traveling, I didn't really prepare additional things that potentially happen while you were traveling that would result in like combat or anything significant like that.
I mean, to be fair, that's fine because we can't. Well, you would hope we won't be fighting all the time, and it's nice to finally get to Secomber and start doing some of the stuff. Trying to find out about the statue and all that sort of thing. So, I mean, I don't mind. It's nice. It rounds off the year. We've got to.
Theoretically, you've dumped everybody who you're traveling with for a couple days, and it's just the 3 of you and Sprinkles.
Party!
Theoretically. And it's also kind of like we are entering the largest metropolitan location. Like one of the 2 largest places in the campaign.
Okay.
Between Secomber and Silvery Moon, these are the largest town places. And everything else is less urban. And because of that, I feel like I had to like establish like lots of things and lots of shops, and that's why I'm like flipping through all of my notes because there are like many shops or places potentially you could go because it's not some 2-horse town like Ulavan. But I felt like I did not pull that off as well as I would have liked. Anyway. I am not happy. But yeah. I'm so glad you're here.
Yay.
I for one am still thinking of that woman as Nadja and her doll. So that's me happy.
That was
Sorry.
my favorite thing because that was kind of like the inspiration, but it wasn't going to be anything remotely as cool as Nadja.
It's just my favorite bit about the whole damn program is
and
that.
the part that you immediately clocked that like it's like Nadja.
Sorry.
I'm like thumbs up. I was so happy about that.
Oh, that's great.
Because that's what I was going for. This woman
Fantastic.
floating around with her little Nadja.
Yeah.
But low rent Nadja.
Actually, completely off topic, but there's a cookery program we watch over here. I don't know if you get it over there, called MasterChef: The Professionals, and it's all like hotel and restaurant cooks, chefs,
Just chefs.
competing and stuff. But one of them was she had Nadja's accent, and I don't know what her name was. We just called her Nadja for the episodes that we saw her in. It was so funny. Anyway,
We don't get that. I don't think we have any access to it unless using. I don't know. Maybe with a VPN, maybe wink wink, you can maybe get access to it.
maybe, yeah. So, but no, I enjoyed this session. Lots of information. Just like finally getting to Secomber. Yeah.
Which none of us are going to remember 5 weeks from now.
Well, I have made some notes, so I'm hoping I'll remember some of it, but it's not going to be all of it. We'll just. I want to find out about the cats.
And thank you, Groovy, for joining us in chat. Yeah, there's lots of stuff you could potentially get into and investigate and find out here. So I think the question remains for me, and that's why I'm glad I asked where your next steps are going to be. So I will kind of direct my preparation.
Cool.
Which, while we're in Secomber, I'm probably going to be doing more of that, is kind of trying to gut check what you're doing next, so that I'm prepared for it. Because there's a lot of different things you could potentially do.
Okay.
Well, thank you, and everybody have great holidays.
You too.
You too. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing all this.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Alrighty.
And if we don't speak to you again, we'll speak to you in the new year.
Well, I'm sure there will be chatting.
Yeah,
they'll be screaming in the DMs about this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Especially like I'll catch up on Wednesday and stuff towards the end of the month, and it'll be good times.
All right.
All right, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Speak to you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.